Hey, what's up, guys? Well, it is time for a story. I just experienced some road rage about 15 minutes ago. Just got home, popped the camera out because I wanted to tell this story while it's fresh in my mind. I can give you all the correct details. It just happened. I've never experienced road rage like this before because in this particular case, the first time in my life this has ever happened, the person actually chased me down, got out of their vehicle, and confronted me. Okay, so first off, before I get into the story here, there will be profanity in this video. I'm going to say what they said, what I said, exactly how it happened, and I will be cursing. Okay, so if that's something you don't like, you may not want to watch the rest of this video. That being said, what makes this different than past experiences is that in my younger days, before I met my wife and we were dating and all that kind of stuff, and I was single, I was very reckless. I always felt like I was a good driver. However, when someone pissed me off on the road, and they did something that I felt endangered me, I would fuck with them. I would have road rage. Someone wants to cut me off, and I have to slam my brakes. I go, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker, and I will, speed past them, and we'll play. We'll play games. That is completely wrong. No one should do that. Whether you're young or old or single or married, that is definitely the wrong thing to do. And I've learned that as an adult. And what changes when you have a girlfriend and then you get married, or if you have kids or whatever, you have responsibilities other than yourself. When you're single, you act differently because you are the only person you're responsible for. You may think like, okay, my family might be upset if I do something bad or whatever, but it's different. When you get married and you have a family, especially when you have kids, but even before that, when you have a family, you have a wife, or if you're a woman, you have a husband, you're responsible for now your family you've created. Okay, so life changes. You don't make the same decisions when you're with someone and you have kids than you do when you're single. So I was reckless when I was single, and I am embarrassed by that, to be honest. It's not cool. It's not fun at all. It's a stupid thing that just a lot of guys go through. Some guys are lucky. They don't really care, but it's like a macho thing. It's a testosterone thing. In the moment you get pissed off and, dude fucks with you and you're a dude and you gotta you gotta be the winner. It's wrong. You shouldn't do that. You should not play around the road. It's not just about you, okay? Something that we all tend to forget in the heat of the moment is that you're sharing these roads with other innocent people that have nothing to do with this. If you want to fuck with someone on the road, you can get to an accident, you can hurt and kill innocent people. Even the person who you're messing with, they could just be dumb, or they maybe had a dumb moment. A lot of times road rage happens because of mistakes. Okay, it's not every time there's some kind of road rage situation on the road. I'm sure most of you guys, even if you don't drive, you are passengers in cars, and you see where there's road rage. You might be driving, normal day, and then some car flies past you, and then all of a sudden, like 2 seconds later, another car flies past you because they're like kind of fighting on the road. It doesn't always mean that one person did something purposely and the other person's reacting to it. I would say the majority of the time someone did something by mistake, like, oops, I accidentally cut this person off. But instead of the person who got cut off saying, what an idiot, they go, no, I have to teach this guy a lesson. And that's where things go wrong, okay? And things can escalate very quickly. It's amazing just how fast things can just turn from nothing into something, and it can literally change your life forever. Okay, so all that being said, what made this situation different is that I wasn't in a car, someone was in a car, and blah, 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 and then we go our separate ways. No, this guy chased me down in the parking lot and decided to get out of his car. Now that changes things, okay? So here's what happened. I was at the grocery store, and I'm driving my car, and what happened was it was very busy. It's a beautiful day. Everyone's out. Everyone's out. They're shopping. They're doing stuff. All right, so it's very busy. Now, I'm in front of this strip mall, all right, and I want to leave. So I get into my car, and I'm trying to pull out. Now, there's a row of cars, a row of traffic, right? So I'm sitting there waiting. Now, I have my blinker on. I have my left blinker. I'm telling everyone in traffic, hey, I'd like to get out. Now, it's pretty much bumper to bumper, okay? So 2 or 3 cars pass, and then there is a gap, okay? There is a full-size car gap. So I decide, here's my chance to get out and get into traffic, right? Or the congestion that was there. So I have my blinker on this whole time, mind you. A guy in a truck, okay, who's now allowing the other cars to go in front of him. He didn't basically drive up ahead. He stayed in his position. That's what created the gap. That's why I decided to turn in. So what happened was, okay, now I'm pulling out. The guy sees me pulling out, and for whatever reason, decides, no, you're not pulling out. And he actually speeds up to me, okay? And I can see in my side mirror, because I'm watching as I'm pulling out, I can see that he doesn't want me to go. And in the moment, I thought, hey, what the fuck, man? You're being a jerk-off. Just let me go. So instead of just like slamming on my brakes and letting him fly past, in the moment, I said no. And I just eased out. And eventually, he, of course, had to slam on his brakes. Now, when he did that, he honked at me. Now, when he honked at me, I gave him the finger. I said, hey, fuck you, man. Put it right out the window. Fuck you. I didn't say fuck you, but got the finger out the window just to let him know he was being an asshole. What the fuck, man? You're going to hesitate and give me a gap, and I have my blinker on. There's nothing wrong. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong here, right? So as soon as he honked, I'm thinking, what a jerk off. Gave him the finger, and that's it. So now I'm slowly going, because we're in a parking lot now, mind you. There's people around. There's cars everywhere. So I'm slowly going to the parking lot. This guy fucking guns it in his truck. He's in, I think, like maybe a Chevy pickup, and like a newer truck. He guns it, whips around the parking lot, and I can see him. He's trying to like chase me, okay? I'm driving very calmly, get to the end of the parking lot, I put my blinker on, I very calmly drive. I'm wondering, what's this guy gonna do? What's his end game once he gets me? Because he's going around the whole parking lot to try to cut me off. So I go down the lane. I'm coming to a stop because it's the end of the parking spaces, right? Put my blinker on, I'm looking both ways. This guy comes flying up, and he's doing probably 40 miles an hour in a parking lot, okay? Literally slams on his brakes and skids. Here's my car. Okay, I want to make a right. He skids in front of me, just like this. Okay, the truck literally inches from the front of the car. So I'm thinking, what the fuck, right? What the fuck's this guy gonna do now? So now I'm looking at him. He decides to get out of the truck. Okay, now this is where things get a little bit tricky. I'm sitting in my vehicle. Okay, I have my neck knife on, of course. I have knives available to me all in the car. I have my gun aside. Now, immediately, once he pulls in front of me, I'm thinking, what is he gonna do? The second he opens the door, the gears start turning. I'm thinking, all right, so what are my options here? Is he going to get out with a baseball bat? How is he going to confront me? Is he going to be a threat to my life? So the very first thing I do is I reach down and I shift my entire gun holster towards the front so I have accessibility to my gun if I need to get it. Okay, and the next thing I do is I put my hand over on the karambit, which I keep in my car, which you guys saw in my last videos. A couple people pointed out. I always have a karambit tucked in the seats there. So I unsnap the snap on the sheath, and I got my hand on the knife, right? What the fuck's this guy gonna do? So he gets out, of course, starts screaming. What the fuck is your problem? What are you doing? He walks over to my side of the window. At this point, he's being the aggressor. I'm calmly sitting in my car. I wasn't speeding around the parking lot. He decided that in the moment, I gave him the finger, and that set off the macho man trigger. You know, and it happens just like that. Had I not given him the finger, I'll bet you he wouldn't have done anything. But when I gave him that finger, and by the way, he had his wife in the car and his kids in the car. That's what he told me. And I saw his wife. I couldn't see his kids. They might have been in the back seat. So that's why he's angry, okay? And I'll get to that in just a second. But he flew around the parking lot to chase me down, okay? He's now putting himself in this situation. I'm not asking for this. I'm not driving like an asshole. I'm calmly driving. I just want to get away. That's it. I wanted to pull out. You did something that I felt was wrong. I did something to tell you that you were wrong, and that was it. End of situation, right? But no, the macho man thing jumped right in, so he had a speed in front of me, stop, he gets out of the car, he starts yelling. Now he walks over to my window, and I'm prepared, like I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, well, what's he gonna do? He's gonna grab me by the shirt, maybe throw a punch or something. I'm trying to plan all this scenarios that could possibly happen, and I'm watching his hands very carefully. Okay, because I want to make sure that he doesn't have any kind of a weapon on him, to make sure that the threat is minimal. Okay, if this guy's just pissed off and he wants to get into a fist fight because I cut him off in the parking lot, then whatever, right? That's a different situation than someone who's just crazy and is going to draw a weapon. That's different. So I'm watching him. He comes out of the truck. He's got nothing in his hands. You know, his hands aren't in his pocket or anything. His hands are just to his side. So I don't feel threatened. All right, he's very aggressive. He's screaming and yelling and cursing, but that's whatever. It's not a big deal. I want to make sure he doesn't have a weapon. So once I realize he doesn't have a weapon, he comes over and he says, "You gonna fucking cut me off like that? You're gonna give me the finger? I got my kids in the car." So then I say, "Well, you have your kids in your car?" He's like, "Yeah, I got my fucking kids in the car, and you're giving me the finger?" So then I told him, and that's the first thing that just popped in my head, because that's the one thing is you can't plan for stuff like this. This just happened, boom, 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 split second stuff, right? You don't get to plan, you don't get to think much, you just act. And that's why things escalate so much. Now, what I said to him, which may or may not have been the right thing, is I said, well, if you were a good father and you're worried about your children in the car, you wouldn't be chasing me around the parking lot like a goddamn fucking asshole. So then he says, well, what the fuck did you give me the finger for? You know, you cut me off. And I said, no, you were acting like a jerk off and you wouldn't let me get out of my spot. Okay, I'm clearly trying to get into traffic. There was a gap that was created there and I'm trying to pull out. And you decide to pull right up on the bumper? For what? You're being a jerk off. All right, now, meanwhile, I'm sitting here and he's standing next to the car. He's right there. He said, well, you're acting like an asshole. Don't fucking do that anymore. I said, listen, you know what? I said, you got your kids in the car? And at this point in my mind, I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. I realize that he doesn't want to, I really have a sense that he doesn't want to get into an altercation. He doesn't want to fight. Okay, what I could have said, and depending on my reaction, could have changed everything. I could have said to him, hey, you know what, jerk off, let's do it right now. Let's fucking get into a fight. Is that what you want? You want to get into a fight? But I didn't do that. I said to him, look, and in the moment, I realized that, you know what, he does have his kids in the car, fine. He's got his wife there, so obviously he felt the need to maybe show off or be the man that his wife thinks he is. Whatever it is, the macho thing came out. So I said, you know what, listen, I will apologize to you for giving you the finger in front of your children. I said, I will not apologize for pulling out of the spot. You gave me a gap, I pulled out of the spot, that was it. He said, you're acting like an asshole. And then while he's telling me this, while he said that, he looked down and saw my neck knife, okay? And he immediately changed his tune. Now, I find this really interesting because I don't know if maybe he thought he would get into some kind of altercation. I mean, he went out of his way to stop and talk to me. I feel like maybe that was a part of it. Maybe he felt like, you know what, yeah, let's fucking fight. You know, you did this to me, you know. The situation, like I said, it happens in split seconds here. So once he notices it, I literally see him go like this and look down, and he makes a face. And he goes, you're an asshole, and he walks away. Because he's thinking like, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to fucking fight this guy. What if he pulls this knife from me, right? Which I won't. If I get into a fight, let me tell you something. If I see someone who's unarmed and they want to like throw down with me, I will take my knife off. I will fucking throw it to the side. I'll take my gun off and throw it to the side, and I will fight with my fists. I have no problem defending myself without a weapon. People seem to think that if you carry a gun, you're a pussy. Or if you carry knives, you're a pussy, right? Why can't you fight with your fists? You carrying knives and guns like that has nothing to do with you as a man or your morals or what you will do in a bad situation. I carry this kind of stuff to level the playing field. I'll get into a fist fight with someone. I have no problem with that if, you know, the situation calls for it. I'm not going to pull a knife on an unarmed man. I'm not going to pull my gun on an unarmed man, even if I'm getting my ass kicked. Okay, someone could be on top of me, just fucking kicking the shit out of me. I won't pull my gun just because I have it there. And you know, you might say, well, if you're in that situation, you might think differently. Maybe, but I truly feel like I wouldn't do that. Okay, I'll take an ass kicking if that's what it takes. You know what I mean? If I'm in a situation like that, I'm not going to try to get the upper hand because, first of all, there's huge legal ramifications for that. I don't mess around. I carry a gun. I carry multiple knives. I feel I'm very responsible with these weapons. All right, I wouldn't use it to my advantage in a situation and then pay for that decision later. Because like I said, it can escalate quite a bit. Even though this guy was unarmed, in a quick visual, you know, check that I did with him, doesn't mean he didn't have a gun or he didn't have a knife somewhere. So as he's yelling at me and he's pissed off, I see the wife in there. She must have been fucking devastated that he even did what he did. I know my wife would be. And that's what I'm thinking about. And that's kind of the purpose why I'm telling you guys this too, is if I was single, things would have been different. I think that my testosterone, my need to be the alpha male might have kicked in more, and I would have been blinded to the consequences that were about to happen. You know what I mean? Every action has a reaction. You know, you want to be the better, not the better guy, but you want to be the stronger, the more aggressive person in a situation like that. Because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to belittle me. He was trying to be an alpha male. You know what I mean? It was totally unnecessary. Okay, like I said, he did something I thought was being a jerk off, and I reacted with letting him know. Right? The universal, you did something fucked up, you're stupid. Okay, that's how you tell someone without physically talking to them. So he didn't like that though. That rubbed him the wrong way, and maybe he was embarrassed because his wife was in the car. I don't know. Maybe he is an asshole. I don't feel like he is, honestly. I don't want to defend his actions. I think his actions were wrong. I think he put his kids and wife in danger just by doing what he did. You don't know who the fuck I am. You don't know what kind of person. I mean, that's once he saw the knife, and he looked around the car a little bit, and he saw I got the knife hanging from the rear view, and maybe he felt uncomfortable in the situation. Maybe he started to realize, like, yeah, you know what? You don't know who you're messing with. And I'm not saying that to be like, yeah, I'm some badass. You don't know who you're messing with. No, I'm not like that at all. But you really don't know who you're messing with. That's why I don't have road rage anymore. It's not about me. It's about me and my family. The family that I'm creating, the family I'm starting. Okay, I have a wonderful wife. I don't want to be in jail. Okay, I've had these discussions many times with my wife. My wife gets very uneasy if like something happens on the road, and she's like worried if I'm gonna like, rebuttal. And I've learned so much from her because she's able to just forget about it. And I don't know if it's because she's a woman or if it's because of her personality, because I think guys tend to just hang on to shit, We just get like, in a situation where we're mad, we get pumped up and we don't give a shit, We want to make our stand. We want to make our point. We want to teach someone a lesson. And that is wrong. Most of the time, that is wrong. But she would suffer. My wife would suffer from my consequences. And I don't want that. That's why I didn't get into an altercation. I said my piece, and I feel like, because as soon as it's all done, he got in his truck and he drove away, right? And he didn't drive away aggressively or anything. I think maybe he's starting to think that maybe he was wrong for what he did. I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. But he started driving away, and I calmly drove away. But the whole time I'm driving home, I'm pumped about it. I'm thinking like, at first you're angry. And you think of, especially if you've ever been in a situation where something like this happened or something, any kind of altercation where things get heated, you start talking, hey, screw you, fuck you, blah, blah. As a guy, like later you're thinking like, man, I should have fucked him up. That's the first thing you think of, right? It's a dumb macho thing that we all do. And it's natural. It's natural. It's like a survival type thing, right? But it's stupid. What if I got into a fight with him, whether I won or not, that wouldn't have accomplished anything. Nothing at all, okay? My wife would have been extremely pissed off at me, first of all, for even getting into an altercation, even if it's not my fault. Unless it's something that I can't avoid, she would. She'd be pissed off at me. And rightfully so, I believe. Most of these situations with road rage and stuff could be handled very simply. But the problem is when you have, two alpha males, no one wants to compromise. No one wants to look like a pussy. No one wants to seem like the weaker male. It's something that's like ingrained in us as men. And it's very hard to swallow your pride. It is so hard to apologize. And that's what I did. I said, look, I gave you the finger in front of your kids. And maybe that was fucked up. Sorry. I didn't say it like that. In the moment, I just said, look, I apologize for giving you the finger in front of your kids. Exact words, just like that. That's when he changed his tune, by the way, too. If I said, hey, you know what, fuck you, man, fuck you, that might have turned into a different situation. Maybe he would have tried to reach for me inside the car, and then, what am I going to do? In the moment, I like to think I know what I would do. Don't really know unless it happens. So that could have been a very bad situation. And instead of making this video comfortably at my home for you guys to listen to, I could be in jail. I could be in the back of a squad car. I could be being hauled off for assault and battery charges. Who knows? I have no idea. I could be in pain. Maybe I'm in the hospital. I don't know what the guy is capable of, I feel like I can hold my own, but I'm not, Mr. Tough Ass. Doesn't matter how big or strong you are. There's certainly someone bigger and stronger. This particular guy was just like an average build, maybe middle-aged. And as men, all men do this, okay? And if you're a guy watching, you know what I'm talking about. You assess people. You'll look at someone and think, yeah, I can kick their ass, and you'll look at someone else and go, maybe I wouldn't mess with that guy, But it's not about how big they are. It doesn't make it. You could be a friggin' giant. You could be, 6'5", pushing 300 pounds, pure muscle. But you get, a straight kick in your kneecap, doesn't matter how big or strong you are, you're going down. So men do that. Men assess each other, especially when there's some negative situation where you're arguing. The whole time you're arguing, you're thinking like, man, if I get into a fight with this guy, do I have a good chance? You naturally think that kind of stuff. I'm glad the situation was calmed down. I'm glad that he drove off and it wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? Because in the moment, as much as I really craved to be the tough guy, and be the aggressor and to be defensive, because that's what happens too, In his mind, he may not be thinking like, yeah, I'm a big, bad, tough ass. No, he might be thinking he's defensive. when I gave him the finger, he's thinking, well, Jesus, like that's my initiation for a fight, you know? Which, of course, it wasn't. I was simply telling him, hey, you're a jerk-off. What you did was stupid. So, anyway, I'm glad the situation was taken care of and nothing bad happened for either of us. I'll bet you anything. Being a married man, I can tell you right now, his wife is giving him some major shit for his actions. I know that. But whatever. You know what I mean? I think I handled it well. And that's the whole thing here, is you don't know how you're going to react. I could never have planned for this situation going through the store today. I never in a million years thought that would happen. You know, but again, what made it different was the second, I mean, I've had people chase me. I've chased many people before myself. I've scared the shit out of people, okay? I've acted very crazy many times in the past, which was wrong. And people have acted crazy towards me, and I've wondered, hey, when's this guy going to fucking stop playing this game, you know, we're playing? But when he stopped and he got out, like I said, the gears started rolling. I'm thinking, okay, what's going to happen here? I'm glad that I reacted and started thinking rationally, like, okay, if he's a threat, what do I have available to me? I'm glad I naturally felt like that, and I naturally reacted that way, but I'm also glad that I didn't feed into the aggression, because his character very much seemed like if I reacted to him, we would have been fighting. Yeah, I know that. He wasn't a very submissive person. He was very aggressive. That's why the whole situation, you know, began in the first place, was because of his choice to speed around the parking lot with his family in the truck and to cut me off, I mean, literally inches from my car, and to block me off. At that point, when you're blocking me off, okay, you're starting something. Now, if we happen to get into a physical altercation, I do feel like I would have had the upper hand as far as when the cops arrive and the stories start being told. People watch, because there's lots of people out there, you know, people walk around and shit. Hey, this poor guy's just trying to leave, and this fucking crazy guy in a truck cuts him off and jumps out of his truck and starts yelling at him, you know. So whatever would have happened there, I feel like I could have, you know, had the better place, the better position, I suppose. But anyway, lesson learned today. I'm not going to say I'll never flip someone off again, but maybe when it's more appropriate. When a situation like that happens, maybe it was a little too much to give him the bird. Maybe it was uncalled for, you know. Did I really cut him off? In his eyes, he thought I cut him off. I don't think I did. Like I said, there was a gap there. He wasn't moving, okay? Split-second stuff. When you're driving, we all make decisions. And sometimes those decisions could be wrong. And that's why we get into car accidents. And that's why people have road rage and all kinds of shit. But what I hope you guys get out of this video, young or old, I hope you realize how important it is to try to stay calm in situations, and how much power you have to change what happens in a situation. You can change the outcome. If you get into a road rage situation, someone gets out of the car and they're fucking screaming and cursing at you, if you say, hey, listen, hey, maybe I made a mistake. Men they're not ready for that. They're ready for the rebuttal. This guy was 100% ready for me to call him a jerk off and an asshole, and he wanted to fight. I'm fairly certain of that. But when I said, look, hey, I apologize for giving you the finger in front of your kids, it like threw him for a loop. He's like, well, wait a minute. You can't be a nice guy because you gave me the finger. You know, like he was confused. I can see it in his face. He was confused. So yeah, there you go. It's crazy. The situation is crazy, man. And you know, it's a little frightening, because you worry about what you're capable of yourself. When you're angry, a lot of times you're not thinking about repercussions. Just in the moment, the heat of the moment. People kill each other in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? But big thanks to my wife and my father as well, because my father reminds me all the time, it's never worth it. Doesn't matter who the person is, and most times it doesn't matter what they did. It's never worth it. You're going to be in jail. You're going to ruin your life. For what? For what? So, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed my story time. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. And I'll leave you with this. I'm not upset at the guy. I do think he was wrong, but he was just being a guy. You know what I mean? So, whatever. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you soon.